Hello everybody, it's the Fat Boy back again with another F1 2021 My Team Career Mode episode here for the Singapore Grand Prix here in Marina Bay. For the first ever Singapore Grand Prix in My Team Career Mode series. And I'm very excited because this is my home Grand Prix. And looking at the R&D charts, we're not that bad because we are fighting with the big boys at the top now. Like Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes. They're pretty much like guaranteed to score points like every single race from now onwards, and we have a bunch of upgrades coming up after this race when we head into the US in the next video. So we're gonna focus on Singapore for today's qualifying session first. We're gonna play a 95 AI difficulty. It's gonna be a bit difficult, but since our car is like projected to be at just in the top 10, that's where I'm expected to be. So as you know, head into qualifying, before we get to anything, be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications in order not to miss any future uploads as we now head into one of the most exciting races of my life here in the home Grand Prix. So now we get under Shears Bridge, I believe this is, as we now hit the wall. But thankfully no damage as we now head into turn 23 and turn 24. It's a 1 minute 35.747, 3 tenths slower than George Russell as we now start our second lap here. We had a cooldown lap as we now head towards turn 1 where there was a huge crash in 2017 involving multiple cars. Heading into turn 3 now, we get held up by Mick Schumacher at the exit of turn 3. So obviously this could have been the lap to bring myself up to the top 10. So like in anger I just hit him in the wall to give him front wing damage. And I do get front wing damage as well, but at that point I didn't care because it was my home race. So I guess the emotions got the better of me as we now, luckily we were only P14. Thankfully we weren't out of Q1, if not I'll be like a bit more frustrated because of what Mick Schumacher was doing on track. But I don't hate him in real life, I just hate his AI like after that incident. So but at least we managed to just about get into Q2 by 3-4 tenths of a second. So um, it's a bit lucky for me as you know. For the first lap of Q2 we use all the curb on the exit as now we cross the finish line. It's 1 minute 36.192, much slower than our first lap, or 1 minute 35.7 if I'm not wrong. But that puts us up into the top 4. But then as you now head into this lap, I'm gonna show you the full lap. We are down into P11. So now with DRS open, we are already up by a couple of hundreds of seconds as we now brake at the black part past the 100-meter board, heading into turn 1, turn 2, now into turn 3. We mount a bit too much curb, which will affect the exit. So like my aim is to get a late apex as we now head into turn 5. Exit speed is really important because now we head into this the second DRS straight. Now heading past turn 6, which is Boulevard if I'm not wrong, heading into the braking zone of turn 7 just after the 100-meter board. We got quite a decent exit heading into turn 8. And now we set ourselves up for the braking zone of turn 9. We don't lock up at all, which is incredibly beautiful. As now we're going to set ourselves up for the braking point of turn 10, where the Singapore Sling used to be at. But now they removed those curbs. So now as we head into the chicane here, heading into the Anderson Bridge for the braking zone of turn 12, where Felipe Massa overtook Bruno Senna after almost crashing into the walls. Now we have DRS for the final DRS zone. For me, my comfortable spot into this right-hander is braking just after the 100-meter board, and we use all the curb on the exit, but be sure to stay behind the white lines. If not, we're going to invalidate the lap time. So you're now going to go past the Art Science Museum. There's the Singapore Flyer, now heading under the Padang Grandstands, I believe this is, if I'm not wrong. As we now try to get a decent exit, but we do hit the curb there. As we now go under Shears Bridge, if my memory serves me correctly. As we do hit the wall again, but thankfully we do not get enough damage to reduce performance. As now cross the finish line. That's 1 minute 35.6, 1/10 faster than my previous lap. And unfortunately, we are going to be out of Q2. We are not going to advance to Q3 by over half a second. And we are 1.1 to 1.2 seconds slower than our teammate Carlos Sainz, who's up in P7. So 95 AI is a bit too much for me. I think I'm going to play around 93 or 92 AI because usually the AI around here or around most of the tracks is like 2 tenths slower in the race. So reducing the AI difficulty by 3, so we're going to play around like 92 AI, 93 AI. And I think that's probably like the sweet spot for us in today's race. So hopefully we will see some progress. I really hope that we finish in the points because I want this home Grand Prix to be a Grand Prix to remember in Singapore. So I'll definitely push as hard as possible for today's race, and I'll be trying my best to get a high position in today's Grand Prix.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much at full throttle. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run, I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Gasly, Valtteri Bottas and Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Ricciardo and George Russell, the Black Mamba, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon and Stroll, Giovinazzi, Joe, Robert Schwartzman and Daniel Ticktum, Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, they've taken a grid penalty, and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Well, only one person had a penalty, and that was two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. And since he was ahead of us, we are going to be elevated by one position, which puts us up to P11. So we are just one place away from point scoring positions, which obviously gives us a higher chance of finishing in the higher point scoring positions like top 6. That's what I'm aiming for today's race. And looking at the pit strategy, the original strategy was to go 10 laps on the mediums and 5 laps on the soft compound tires. But since Singapore is one of the tracks where track temperatures are at its highest, or if not the highest, probably, I actually thought of bringing the number of laps on the medium tires down by another lap. So I'm thinking of 9 laps on the mediums and the remaining 6 laps on the softs. So I'm going for the overcut strategy, I would say. Yeah, it's the overcut strategy. As now here come the 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a Red Bull front row lockout. As now it's lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen got a better start than Sergio Perez off the line, and Nikita Mazepin is lagging from behind as we're gonna make it 3 wide heading into turn 1 with Daniel Ricciardo and George Russell. And there's a bit of contact with the two of them, and we overtook him off the track, and there's a front wing flying off someone's car, and that's Esteban Ocon with a completely damaged front wing, as now the virtual safety car is out, and everything will be put to a close as now we're gonna head into turn 6, Raffles Boulevard. So I was half correct, as you're now heading into turn 7. Now heading into turn 8. We are now up to P10, so we're already in the points position. So our only hopes is to go higher than P10, because 1 point, I'm not going to accept 1 point for today's race. And Carlos Sainz is up to P6 with Max Verstappen still in first position. So I don't think he got a better start. I think he just had the distance ahead of Sergio Perez. So now heading into turn 12, the hairpin. This is where Felipe Massa overtook Bruno Senna after almost hitting the wall, which could have ended his race back in 2012. As we're going to go past the Esplanade on the right hand side. So we're now gonna head into the next right-hander here. The virtual safety car is gonna at the end. I hope that it's not gonna end past the apex, and we're already past the apex, and we're gonna try to get a very good exit speed. Now it's green flag, green flag. Now we're gonna go for the dive. We're gonna go for the dive bomb on the inside of George Russell here on the second apex of the chicane. As now there's the Singapore Flyer there heading into the Padang grandstands, if I'm not wrong. So now try to carry as much speed as possible. So now we're gonna head into turn 22 or 23 anytime soon. As now here's Charles Leclerc in P5, I mean P4, Pierre Gasly in P5, Carlos Sainz in P6, Bottas P7, Lando Norris P8, and I'm P9. And some people are gonna enter the pits. I think it's just Ricardo and Ocon because they had damage right off the bat at lap 1. So they are gonna go down the order, and Nikita Mazepin is gonna be up to P20, and we're already up to P9 already. So that's an overtake done on George Russell, I believe, after the virtual safety car because of that dive bomb. So as you now fast forward towards the end of lap 2, now we're going to cross the line for lap 3. DRS is going to be enabled. It's now going to head into turn 1. There was a huge crash in 2017 involving multiple cars. As you now head towards turn 3, I wanted to take a very late apex, but I think that was a bit of a perfect apex, I would say. But I'm still right behind Lando Norris, so as we now head into turn 5, preparing ourselves for the DRS. This is going to be a battle, this is going to be a drag race towards turn 7. So now we're going to head into Raffles Boulevard. We are going to go for the dive bomb down the inside. We're already on the inside line of Lando Norris. We managed to execute the move, and we're now up to P8, and me and my teammate are going to sandwich Valtteri Bottas in P7. And Lewis Hamilton is, I believe, is in P4 up to now. So I'm not sure why Mercedes are falling off the pace. Red Bull are very dominant when it comes to high downforce tracks such as Monaco or Singapore as well. So now heading under the Anderson Bridge, heading into the hairpin of turn 12. Sorry, turn 13 I should say. I believe it's turn 13 or turn 12 because I have the track map right here on my phone. So now we're gonna go past the Esplanade here, heading into turn 14. We are still trying to get a good exit here, but we get a horrible apex because we had a very bad exit. We're not using the slow and fast start principle. I was just rushing and rushing and rushing to catch up to Valtteri Bottas, as there's the beautiful Singapore Flyer once again, heading into the Padang grandstands, I believe this is. So now heading into the final chicane. We are still trying to catch up to Valtteri Bottas. Is getting held up by Carlos Sainz as you now head into turn 22. Now turn 23, we have the DRS along with us as we now head into turn 1. This is a small DRS straight heading into turn 1. We almost hit Valtteri Bottas. In fact, we do. Just a small love tap, and we take quite a late apex. That's the apex I was talking about, so that I can get a greater exit speed. So now heading into turn 5, we are trying to get DRS on Valtteri Bottas, as now we have more straight line speed than the Mercedes, even though we are on the mediums and we have a weaker car. So I think Mercedes are starting to fall off the pace just a little bit. And Valtteri Bottas has DRS. I have DRS as well, and he has ERS as we go for the move down the inside there. That was a beautiful move. Heading into the turn 10. This is the Padang grandstands, I'm sorry. So I have made quite a bit of mistakes, and I think there's a City Hall building, if I'm not wrong, heading into turn 12. Right around now, under the Anderson Bridge we go, trying to chase down our teammate Carlos Sainz, who is on the soft compound tires, so he's going to be one of the first few people to pit in this race, pitting on lap 5 or lap 6 I assume, as you now head into turn 14. Trying to get a very good exit speed here as we get quite a bit of wheel spin, but it doesn't affect us at all as we now head into the third last chicane, I believe this is, as we now head under the grandstand which I thought was the Padang grandstand, but it wasn't. The Padang grandstand is the grandstand that is right next to right before turn 10, like in between turn 10 and turn 9. So as you now head into lap 5, right around now as we cross the finish line, we have DRS on Carlos Sainz. Lap 5 is where first round of pit stops will be happening. So we're now just trying to get a better exit speed than Carlos Sainz, heading into turn 3, now turn 4, past Republic Boulevard I believe this is. As we now head into turn 5, trying to get a better exit. We do get a better exit than Carlos Sainz. We took quite a lot of curb there and the late apex. So as we're now getting squeezed by him down the inside, actually on the outside, but either way, but we still get squeezed as we now head into turn 8. We managed to get P6 from Carlos Sainz, fortunately. And now this is the Padang Grandstand, but I transition all the way to the end of lap 5 under the bridge. I believe this bridge is, I'm not sure if that bridge was Shears Bridge or Nicole Highway, I can't remember. I'm not really good with my bridge names as now head into turn 1. We are up to P3 due to the first round of pit stop. So Gasly up in second place in the Ferrari up ahead, and Sergio Perez 5 seconds faster. In fact, 5 seconds ahead of me, I should say. So now towards the end of lap 6, we managed to bring the gap down by 3 tenths to 4 tenths of a second. And we should see Gasly and Perez on the softs pit this lap because they're on the soft compound tires. So we are most likely going to take the lead of this race. I don't think anyone will be stretching their softs by another lap because this is where the softs should start to degrade for today's race. As we now going to take the lead for today's race. I'm sure the locals must be cheering me on. And so that's Carlos Sainz up in P4 now. That's Lando Norris and George Russell. Guan Yu Zhou should be coming into the pit lane for this lap, and he's staying out. What is he doing? Why is he staying out by one more lap? And I really don't know what he was doing. That's Lance Stroll and Giovinazzi. But Guan Yu Zhou is Guan Yu Zhou, so he can decide for himself. And Nikita Mazepin is up to P17 and moving up the pecking order. And Daniel Ricciardo is in 20th place. Not a good Grand Prix for the McLaren driver, and Ocon all the way in dead last. So we are now heading into turn 9, heading right, and we are now going past the Padang Grandstand, heading into turn 10 where the Singapore Sling used to be. As we now head into turn 11, now into turn 12, now going into the Anderson Bridge, and now we're heading into turn 13, the hairpin. We are making up quite a lot of time here as Daniel Ticktum, our former teammate, still on the soft compound tires, is 23.8 seconds behind us, and we get a purple sector 2. So we're really starting to dominate the pack here, or dominate the lap times here. But Verstappen still has the fastest lap of the race, so I think since we're bringing out so much pace, bringing out so much time, I think we might be able to get a podium. There might be a podium because the average time lost in a Grand Prix is 24 seconds, and given that Singapore has a lot of corners, I think we might be just about get a podium. We might battle Lewis Hamilton. We might, but we're gonna see what happens next as Max Verstappen is not that far behind me in terms of because that he's gonna overtake me definitely heading into the pit lane we are going into now. I've been here in real life as well, but the pain is starting to wear off. In fact, it wore off quite a lot since F1 hasn't been here for the past 2 years due to COVID. But here's Max Verstappen heading into turn 22, now turn 23 as we now here into the pit box. This is a quick pit stop from our team. I think there was a 2.2 second pit stop. As now here's Sergio Perez going past me, and Lewis Hamilton is coming up. Are we gonna take P4 or P3 for today's race? Are we gonna get a podium position most likely? And are we gonna stay ahead of him? Yes, we are. We are gonna be in the podium scoring positions. And this is a day to remember, especially might be the first race where I get my first podium in the home crowd. As we now head into turn 5, heading into Raffles Boulevard. Lewis Hamilton has DRS on me, don't forget that. We're going to go side by side, heading into turn 7 here. I'm trying to go defensive here because the Mercedes has more downforce, more straight line speed, and a lighter chassis than what our car has. As now Carlos Sainz is not that far behind. In fact, Fernando Alonso is getting held up by Charles Leclerc sitting in P5. Carlos Sainz, I'm into P8, and Valtteri Bottas is right behind him. And Valtteri Bottas' teammate Lewis is chasing me as well. So we are battling the Mercedes here. Mercedes are our main opponents for today's race, because Hamilton is still fighting for podium and Bottas is fighting for a measly P8. P8 is nothing to Mercedes as well, so not a good day for the Flying Finn. And this is going to be a huge DRS train for Carlos Sainz. So Carlos Sainz can't do anything but chase Pierre Gasly for P7. Hopefully he can get him in the dying laps of today's race, and for me, I am 6 seconds behind Sergio Perez, so my only goal is to get closer to them, and if we're lucky, probably we might get a P2. And Lewis Hamilton is 1.4 seconds, 1.5 seconds now slower in fact no, 1.5 seconds behind me now, so he's really falling off the pace. And Carlos Sainz is still in P8, and I think we might be in line for a podium here, as Sergio Perez sets the fastest lap of the race on the mediums. I think we managed to have the advantage on Lewis Hamilton. We managed to have the upper hand because he is on the medium compound tires. I am on the soft compound tires. As you now head into Raffles Boulevard, heading into turn 7, we take quite a bit of curb on the apex there. No curb on the exit, just a little bit. As we now head into turn 8, setting ourselves up for turn 9, where we brake at the black signboard there. We take quite a bit of curb so that we don't hit the wall at the exit. It's now going past the Padang Grandstand, heading into turn 10. As now braking at the signboard on the top there. As we now head into the Anderson Bridge, we do make quite a bit of contact with the wall, but thankfully we do not have any damage at all, as we now bring the gap to 4.6 seconds, 4.8 seconds. So we managed to find like 2 to 3 tenths in this lap alone, as we now head into the turn 14 now on the exit. The exit is not that bad, but since we are on the faster, more grippier soft compound tires, we're obviously going to be further ahead of Lewis Hamilton, as now Carlos Sainz is still trying to catch up to Pierre Gasly, and he's actually up to P7. He's actually up to P7, so I think someone must have pitted. I'm not sure who, I forgot already. Anyway, Fernando Alonso pitted, so Carlos Sainz is up to P7 most likely. It's not going to cross the line. It's the fastest lap of the race. We take the fastest lap of the race. We are 1.1 seconds. We are 1.1 seconds faster than our previous lap, and now we get another fastest lap again, just above half a tenth faster than our previous lap. So we are really starting to catch up, as now heading into the last lap of the race, we are just above 1 second slower, 1 second behind Checo Perez. So we are really gonna have to push as hard as possible using all the ERS that we have. Now heading into turn 10, I'm trying to chase him as much as possible because he's getting held up from the dirty air and of Max Verstappen and Max Verstappen himself, as we get quite a bit of a moment there heading into turn 13. We cannot get DRS, unfortunately. Oh my god, 1.4 seconds, 1.3 seconds. I don't even care. We can't even get DRS. But we just have to bring the car home. That's all we have to do, because if we bring the car home, you know what it means. Because scoring a podium in front of the home crowd will be very beautiful. But we still have a few corners to go. We just have to bring the car home, just nurse the car home, no damage, no whatsoever, don't crash us as we now go under the grandstand. That's the beautiful Singapore flyer there, heading into the exit of the second last chicane, heading into the final chicane, turn 20, turn 21. We're going to get a good exit. We almost get quite a bit of oversteer there, heading into turn 22 and turn 23. We are going to score a podium in our home Grand Prix. Let's go!
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
It's never easy to make it across the finish line here in Singapore, but they've done so with some style here today to take a remarkable victory. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, here I am in third place. We can see the beautiful Singaporean flag there, but the thing that's not beautiful is me spraying champagne. So the only thing that I hope from this podium celebration that we are spraying sparkling water instead of champagne, because champagne is haram, obviously. So now after one of I think this is the most exciting race of my career, as you're now up to P10 in the driver standings. Carlos Sainz unfortunately gets overtaken by his former teammate Charles Leclerc, going up to P8. He's tied with our teammate actually, and we have 33 points with our former teammates. So I mean with our current teammates. So no, actually no, we have 33 points alone. So I think we can bring the fight towards the Ferraris. I think our objective is to get as close to the Ferraris as possible. I think this is a very slim chance to close up to the prancing horses in the Constructors' Championship. So my only goal is to get closer and closer and closer to Ferrari towards the from the US Grand Prix, the next video, and beyond. So P3, 15 points, and a fastest lap. So that's an additional point, and that's 16 points for us. So this is obviously going to be a Grand Prix to remember. Carlos Sainz unfortunately wasn't able to get past the Ferrari, so because he was held up, obviously. So he only gets 6 points, but he did try his best. That's all I can say. And yeah, hopefully we can score podiums in the following races towards the end of season 2. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this exciting video, be sure to please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications in order not to miss the next few videos over the next week. I'm the Fat Boy. Have a good day, and I need to go catch my breath after recording this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Solution is to go for the dive bomb down the inside into turn 3. We're making a bit of contact. There's a bit of